Right, I think it's the 21st of November. We're outside the House of Parliament. This is one of many campaigns for decency. We've now got our official logo T-shirts. And so I've got to keep the mic up. And we've had a phenomenal turnout. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start right at the very end. And we're just going to go through the group. And just going to show what we've got here. We've got the flyers that the Campaign for Decency have put out, which we've seen on many times before. So they'll be being held out. And look at this dandy chap, eh? Where did he get this from? Look at this, well done. There we go. And then we're going to just quickly move on now to Jeff. And Jeff's got a present for me.
John, the first 50 MPs, your letter calling for an ombudsman.
Yep.
And calling for an independent body to investigate child abuse. This is the first 50 letters. We want the public to get behind this, so it's not just us, not just you, but we lead by example, contacting the MPs, telling them we want an independent body to investigate child abuse. So there you go, Mr. Wedger.
God bless you, Jeff. Now let's just go through this quickly, and I'm going to open this up, and this is a draft of the letter, and the very, very ironic thing here. If we can get a screenshot of this. And this is us calling, like Jeff said, for an independent ombudsman. What has happened, has been mentioned many times in the past, is that there is a reluctance for the police and the government to get involved in intervening when whistleblowers come forward to expose malfeasance in a public office relating to brave whistleblowers that come forward and they speak out about cover-ups involving child abuse. And I know some people don't like the term, but I haven't got an alternative at the moment: child prostitution. Children are the victims here. There is no choice here. You know, they are coerced into it, but I'll just stick with that term. If I do upset anyone, then there is an apology, but keep it in the context it's meant. So copies of this will go online, but also they can be dispatched, as well can these T-shirts. So send me a Facebook message and I can get one over to you. Right, so these are going to be handed out today, and we're going to be asking that people do write to their own constituent MP. I can write to various MPs, but it has to go via your constituent first. My MP Mike Penning is on board, and the very ironic thing here is we've got to mention the Right Honourable Diane Abbott. We have just met with Diane Abbott, and Diane has agreed to sort of look into our claims for us. So whether or not she remembers, she seemed a little bit vacant at the time, but God bless you, Diane, if you're going to help us and do something about it. But coming along, we got Alan, and Alan is the chair of the Beach Home Survivors. How are you, Al?
I'm all right, thank you, John. Thank you.
You know, God bless us. We got a joint approach here. We got Alan, which is standing proud for justice for the Beach Home team, and then also in respect to our campaign, because they do dovetail. They are interlinked. Because if police whistleblowers are bullied into silence, they're the gatekeepers of this knowledge. All this criminal activity has to go via the police before it gets out. If the police deliberately suppress it, then the poor victims, the innocent victims of these institutional care homes will never get justice. And one of the things we've also noticed is that the abuse doesn't stop in childhood. This goes on throughout adulthood, and then it's intergenerational. It gets passed on. As we know, the pain continues. So we're just out for justice. We're not out to cause any trouble. We're not out to cause disharmony. We want to work together on this. And the other day, I wrote on behalf of the Beach Home Group to Hammersmith and Fulham, because I was present when Jeff was told to leave the premises of Hammersmith and Fulham City Council in Hammersmith, right? And they refused to take a well-written, well-prepared and very concise report, factually accurate report on the abuse that went on. They refused to take it, and it was only the fact that there was a lot of persistence with this, you know, with the CEO. And one of the things I said to them was that the contempt in which Alan was shown on that day. And I've asked them for an apology, and they have refused to apologise.
I wrote to 12 councillors from Labour and 12 councillors from Conservative, the Chief Executive and the Mayor of Hammersmith, and to this day I've not had a reply.
Right. disgusting. So again, there's another council. And it's not just them. We're talking about Kensington and Chelsea. We're talking about Wandsworth, Lambeth. Every single one of the London.
Camden.
Yeah, they've all done it. And the other thing, which is very odd, is that when any of the victims want disclosure, there seems to have always been a fire or a flood.
Yeah. They've said that with Beechholm, that older records were damaged in floods, or they were destroyed by the builders that demolished Beechholm. Various excuses they've come up with.
It's appalling. So we just move on. Right,
Martin Noakes.
Yeah. Martin Noakes. Now, Martin contacted me about turning up again with a joint purpose to support. One second, there's obviously something important they're going to. They're out to catch a paedophile. God bless them. Godspeed, my friends. Right, and also one of the other campaigns which seems to be relentlessly pursued but seems to go nowhere is the campaign for Melanie Shaw. Now, can we have a quick close-up on that? Martin, just tell us a little bit about Melanie's plight today.
Well, Melanie, I've been kind of on the periphery of the Melanie case since 2015, when I heard about her imprisonment due to some alleged arson. And she allegedly set fire to her neighbour's shed, and she supposedly daubed graffiti over their walls as well. However, it's very odd because the fire brigade don't appear to have been called that night. There appears to be no evidence at all that there was a fire there that was endangering anyone's life anyway. And she was found guilty of arson and jailed for endangering life. And the point about Melanie is that she came from a home called Beechwood Home in Nottingham, and she was abused from the age of 4 by her family, and then she went into foster care. She was abused in foster care. Then she went into Beechwood Home, and she was abused at Beechwood Home, and she has suffered a horrendous...
What part of the country is this, Martin?
Nottingham.
So Nottingham.
Yeah.
So again, we got a victim of institutional child abuse.
Yeah. Now the difference between Melanie and a lot of the other people is that Melanie has apparently got, at the very worst, an amazing memory. At best, a photographic memory. And she remembers registration numbers. She remembers names, places, faces, and some of the people that she knows allegedly go back to this place behind me, which could explain why the bizarre treatment she's had. She was released in 2016, I think it was, and then she was re-jailed almost immediately for a different offence, which she supposedly kind of kidnapped someone in her house, which is a bit odd in itself, and then she's been put in isolation for the best part of 2 years now. She served her sentence in full, and yet she's still in jail right now.
And another trait we seem to get is that children's homes geographically are put next to, or they're built next to, mental institutions. And we've seen that in Jersey, we see that in Medhamsley, we see that quite a bit. And what the information I'm getting from a lot of ex-survivors is that they are threatened if they make a disclosure that they're going to end up next door.
Well, interesting you should say that. Melanie is they just had a case for Melanie, and she was found guilty of 4 further cases of arson inside a prison cell with a lighter. You would have thought the prison, if it's true, would have taken the lighter off her after the first one, let alone the 3rd or 4th one. Anyway, they've now found the Judge Belcham, I think her name was, has just found her to be a danger to society, and they've lined her up for a bed in Rampton.
Rampton's a secure unit.
Yeah, well, she'll come out of there. I mean, that's that is one way of silencing someone for.
Well, she's definitely a danger to society within them gates.
Absolutely.
You know, so and if we can move to Tyson. Tyson has been with a campaign since its inception, and funny enough, it was only nearly a year ago that Tyson came on the first came with us on the first walk for charity that we did,
right, yeah.
And we left from over the road there and made our way through North London with my dog. So God bless you, Tyson, and thank you for your continued support. You know, and it is welcomed.
My pleasure.
And would you like to? No. And can we just say no? You don't have to say anything. This is our come over this way. This is our support. which has come all the way from Poland, and I've got quite a few Polish supporters. So, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry panu.
You know, and Dora, you know, thank you for also being a committed supporter to this cause.
Before I knew you, I was supporting you.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's quite ironic that Dora's friend has been a long-term friend of mine, who's also been a victim and is a very, very strong moralistic woman, and has given me a lot of support in the past, you know, so God bless her. So I won't mention her on this stage, but thank you anyway. You're welcome, and hopefully I'll rely on you to give out some leaflets at some point and write to your MP.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what it's about. But anyway, we're going to spend the day now. We haven't had any police interest yet, but hopefully we're going to try and intercept a few politicians on their way to question time, and the support has been fantastic, you know. So, you know, God bless, and we'll keep you updated. We'll update you before we go.